I'll give you a bit of bossa nova. It's always nice in the background.
The Dunning-Kruger effect. Have you heard of that? It's a condition psychologists have identified. The nub of it is, when you're stupid, you're too stupid to know you're stupid. So you're overconfident in your opinions about matters you know little about, which explains arguments over climate change or car repairs, where the person who knows less about the matter at hand is more sure of themselves than the person who knows more. As one psychologist puts it, low ability people do not possess the skills needed to recognise their own incompetence. I had the Dunning-Kruger effect. About the Dunning-Kruger effect. I was typing this and I was calling it the Barbara Kruger syndrome, messing up the name with the name of this New York artist. But luckily, somewhere along the line, a little part of my brain, not occupied by the Dunning-Kruger effect, decided to double check the name. My longest spurt of Dunning-Kruger effect lasted from year 8 to first year university, when I was convinced I could be a rapper, that I had the skills to pay the bills for that vocation. I'd heard Run DMC and the Beastie Boys on the American Top 40. Soon I was kneeling in the family lounge room in front of the record player with one of my parents' Beatles records. Unbeknownst to me, you needed a special type of turntable for hip-hop scratching. Most record players can't rotate backwards. I heard a snap. I really Dunning-Krugered that record player. But who cares? I wasn't a musician, I was a lyricist, an MC. I wasn't a musician, but for some reason it didn't occur to me that this might be an obstacle for participating in a genre of music. Age 15, I lied that I was 16 so I could attend a College of Adult Education music class held each Saturday. I didn't try to learn anything musical there. I was drawn in by the promise that it would help us students break into the music industry. I met a keyboard player called Chris Lumsden. We decided to form Raspberry Cordial. I pulled in a third member, a kid in my class called George Weinberg, who had an impressive Pearl drum kit.
So this one is a Pearl drum. I should probably sit behind the drums, should I not? Anybody who maybe checks you out on Wikipedia will see there's one line, I think, at the end of your entry. I mean, I haven't looked for a long time. It's too hurtful for me to read it. But I believe there's something at the bottom saying that George Weinberg used to be the drummer in Raspberry Cordial until he was kicked out of the band.
Like all great bands, we cut our teeth at a school assembly.
Yeah, we got permission from the school to play at a school assembly, and we played some of your original music. And I think my shtick at the time was I had set up the drum kit so I was standing up and playing, having this fear that at the end of the session, at the end of the concert, you were going to come over and destroy my drums. So I think maybe I'd position myself standing up to be able to defend my kit if you came over to jump on them and smash them.
Our name spread around school, then town.
And then, so someone had said, my girlfriend is having a birthday party at the Scout Hall. Do you guys want to play? And we're like, yeah, my God, we can play this gig. And then we got there and set up and realised we had 3 songs, which we played, which were okay. And then we didn't have any other songs, so we just tried to jam. And it was so bad that I remember actually we went out afterwards and the girl's dad had come up to our friend and said, your friend's just ruined my daughter's birthday party. I hope you're happy.
Melbourne Tram was Raspberry Cordial's signature tune. It was like, at 7 o'clock in the morning, I fall out of bed, get my school bag together to the tram stop ahead.
Oh, you see, you changed the beat there. That's why you need a drum machine. You threw me completely off there. I thought I had something going.
I can't remember the words, and they're probably not even on the internet.
On time.
We do find Melbourne Tram on the internet.
7 o'clock in the morning, I fall out of bed, I get my school bag together to the tram stop ahead. I arrive at the stop, 20 to 8, surprises, the tram is late.
I wish people could see how uncomfortable you are now, squirming.
Oh, God!
Do you want me to stop it?
My head's in a whirl.
Oh, God, yeah, okay, yeah, stop. Then came the jam session in my parents' garage.
So I remember the jam we had at your parents' house in North Balwyn in the garage. And you, me, and Chris, I thought it went really well. I thought this is the way it's going to be. And then, lo and behold, about 12 days later, I received a letter in the post, because that's how we communicated in those days, telling me I was out of the band. And you'd replace me. And I think your justification was that anything I could do, Chris had a button on his keyboard that could do. And yet somehow we're still friends after all these years. I don't know why.
I am kind of embarrassed that my mindset at the time, so I was just thinking of things like, oh my God, packing that drum in a car to drive to the gigs. And also, drums are really loud and I want to be heard. So there was like this kind of arrogance of like this person who doesn't know enough kind of making these rulings. And I always look back at it and I hope I learn from that the less you know, the more you think you know. And then the more you know, you kind of realise you don't know enough. And so, yeah, I'd if I could turn back time, I wouldn't have kicked you out of the band. Okay. Let's see if I can. This is what the alternate universe. If you would have stayed in Raspberry, if I wouldn't have kicked you and your Pearl drum out of Raspberry Cordial. Okay. I'm going to jump in at the next bit. At 7 o'clock in the morning, I fall out of bed. I get my school bag together to the tram stop I head. As I listened back to myself, sure, I'm cringing, but I'm also thinking, in moderation, the Dunning-Kruger effect, deluding yourself that you're competent when you're not, is good. It made me dive into the deep end of life, turn up to gigs at a Bendigo pub, enter the RMIT Battle of the Band competition, and sell my cassettes around uni. So I'm going to coin a new psychological condition. It's called the Barbara Kruger syndrome. That's a name I mistakenly gave the Dunning-Kruger effect before I double-checked. And this condition is when you secretly know you're incompetent, but you suppress it because your delusion is just too much fun.
Big green slug rolling up and down my street, crawling up and down my street.
Yeah.
Wow, it's hard to believe that that was the last of our 30 EARFEST 2020 pieces. We have so enjoyed bringing them to you, and hopefully we've managed to provide a much-needed platform for inspirational audio art in all its forms. Thank you for the kind comments that you've left on our Facebook page. Any more will be greatly received, as they'll certainly help us secure the funding we need to be back in 2021. And speaking of which, if you'd like to submit an idea for an item, please contact us at production@eardrum.com.au. And finally, on behalf of the team at EARFEST and EARDRUM, thanks for listening.